Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and someone who owns way too many plastic robots. It's too late. Random review is about to begin.
Hello everyone! Back with another review of a toy I did not think I would actually see in my area so fast, but here we are, and I will be talking about some Wave 2 Legacy toys, starting with Tarantulas, the final member of our Episode 1 Beast Wars cast. Everyone was up in a tizzy when this thing was first omitted from Kingdom, when we got so much of the Beast cast and everyone went, where is Pterosaur and Tarantulas? Well, Pterosaur, not as smoothly handled as Tarantulas, but hey, he's Wave 2 Legacy. He should be easy for everyone to find. So let's see if he's worth finding. How about that? So before we get any further in this, let's actually make this very clear from the start. This toy does not share any parts with Black Arachnia. Maybe the gun, but that's about it. Everything else is completely new tooling. Also, I want to say, he doesn't really share engineering with Black Arachnia either. Maybe the arms, but there's really no way of avoiding that. Everything else seems to function of its own accord. It feels like a completely different figure. Because it kind of is. It just has similarities. So, we're going to view it as it's completely its own. So just to get that out of the way before we go any further. So also, apologies to anyone with arachnophobia out there, but hey, you clicked on the video, you knew what you were getting into. So, taking a look is this brilliant purple tarantula, of which does not exist in real life. But hey, we have it here. He looks quite nice. Black for the legs, as well as this kind of like sickly gold, metallic yellow looking paint going through to create his familiar striping, as well as you forgive me, I don't know spider parts. I can never remember what the things are called, but yeah, he has them. Alright, so yeah, his robot mode legs forming these little front claws, and he looks good. He looks good. He looks spot on to how Tarantulas looked in the cartoon. Maybe with a little bit more realism thrown in, because he is textured quite a bit, just like all the Kingdom beasts were, looking quite exceptional. There's a lot of creepiness to it, which is appropriate. If you can actually take a close-up look, he does have 8 eyes just kind of staring off. There's a little paint bit missing on one, which it gives him the look of just one weird googly eye. So I might need to figure out a paint match for that, because I don't know if I can stare at that every time it's in beast mode. But yeah, you can see even his little fangs. Little fangs got a little bit of green paint, so he's looking very nice. So I want to mention right off the bat, all of his spider legs are ball jointed at the midpoint, but they are solid in the actual body itself. So you're not getting a posable spider out of this toy. What you're getting is a Beast Wars bug that can actually stand on its front legs. Now, doing so is a little bit weird. So, because of the ball joints, they do tend to slip, because the spider feet are not flat in any way, shape, or form. So they can kind of roll, and that means that he's going to end up like sitting here and sitting on the flat of his belly, and most likely like sitting right here on the balls that make up his shoulders. It's not a huge deal. He still looks fine. It still looks like he's supposed to look. It's just, be aware, he's probably not going to be standing up on his own. Like, the ball joints are just too loose to accomplish it. However, he still looks fine. Now, before we get into transforming him, I am going to mention there's a couple weird things to how this thing transforms back into the spider. Most notably here in the rear section. For starters, this shell has a spot right here in the back where it tabs in. I cannot get it to make that connection, which means that when I try to fold his legs up, it doesn't feel like I have as much room to connect them as I should, which is giving me issues. it's becoming, it's a little problematic. There's a few connection points where it doesn't feel like I can make the connections that it wants me to. For instance, inside this shell, there are 2 tabs that are supposed to fit onto the sockets under his feet. I can't quite make that connection here. So obviously, like, I can hold it by the rear section, everything holds together. Obviously, it's all firmly connected, it's not going anywhere, and it looks fine. It's just a little bit frustrating that a couple of tolerances are off, and I'm not quite getting exactly what I'm supposed to. Minor quibble, though, because it still functions absolutely fine. So before we go into the robot mode, we're going to take off that weapon and get him set for the transformation. Alright, now to transform this bug, first I'm going to pull the feet out from his rear shell. You see it's clipping on a few things. As we mentioned, the clearance is not great if you can't get all the tabs to line up. You can fold the feet differently also, so that can improve your range. Alright, stretching those out. Legs, pretty easy. There's nothing terribly complex about this transformation. I'm going to say that right now. Like, he's pretty smooth. So, for the bug legs here, they connect in both on the... they both connect in here on the side of the body, as well as a tab here in the back. So both of those will have to be undone in order to unclip the beast. Alright. Spire Mode. The Spire Mode head double hinges down. Fold up there. Need to get this... You need to get the spider butt all the way around, like so. And I find it's easier to tuck the head in while you're rotating it. So try and get that 2-for-1 just to go ahead and make it a little bit smoother to get everything in position. Find that tab right there on that spider head. That locks all that in place. You can see it's pretty much done as it is. So we're going to adjust his legs and his arm positions, and after that, yeah, we call it a robot mode. So nothing terribly complex, Tarantulas, ironically for the techiest guy in the Predacons, is pretty smooth in how he operates. Nothing too over the top, nothing too complex. He just kind of does what he needs to do, and it's actually pretty good to do at that. Considering the beast mode looks so good, I have no problems with that. I prefer like a smooth transformation. I prefer when a toy is let's just say not basic, not simple, but intuitive. That's what Tarantulas feels like. He feels intuitive, and I think that's the correct approach. All right. So, looking at him now, robot mode is just a thing of beauty. I think everyone just popped when we got to see Tarantulas in his full robot mode. Looking spot on. Like, absolutely beautiful. Okay, maybe his claws could have been a little bit larger in this mode, but proportion-wise, shape-wise, everything is just excellent. He just looks so freaking good. All right, taking a close look at the head here. A lot of his details have been represented really well, considering how many layers there are to his head in the robot in the cartoon. I'm surprised the robot head looks as good as it does. He has all of his little mouthpieces. He's got the sides of his helmet in there. He's got all of his little creepy eyes. There's no I would have liked like some homage to his like robot head, his mutant head that is not represented here, but well, it is his mutant head. You know what I'm talking about. But that's just a me thing. He looks great. Like, absolutely exactly what he needed to be. Really, really happy with how he came out. So, yeah, the colors here, this metallic mint green has come through really strong on him. It's not a color I think of when I think of Tarantulas as like his tertiary color. but it works. Like, it works with the purple. I really do like it, and it's a pale enough shade of green. It doesn't come across like Constructicon colors. So he's doing a good job of kind of balancing all of his color tones pretty well. And let's see, we look on the side. Yeah, he does have that backpack from his beast mode parts. There really probably wasn't too much of a way to actually avoid that. Maybe the shell could have broken up and folded in a little bit more, but for what it is, I think it's doing a great job. Also, important to remember, all of that is completely hollow, so it's not providing any, like, weight that's going to offset the balance of the toy. So, he does a great job. He does very, very well here. So, so most of this you could see in the beast mode, like here, like the texture on his chest, all of that was present on the top side of his beast mode. You can see all the eyes on his pelvis are here, the 9 eyes, which is inaccurate in an actual spider. So, but hey, accurate robot details, so they kept it. It's textured as well, which is creepy. You can see the sculpted lines on the legs, which are meant to make it look like the rear section transformed into legs, even though it did not. Some paint to make that stand out would be nice. You can see the texturing even continues down into this metallic lower leg. You know, if you didn't know it was supposed to be textured, this might look like a dog or a kid chewed on it, but because it just looks like pelted. It just looks like little tiny dents everywhere. Whatever. The metallic yellow from the back of the beast mode and his claws also makes an appearance here in his feet, same as it does on the head. So we got some nice coloration going on here. Now, form-wise, the one thing about him I wish I could do was do something else with these beast mode legs. I wish I could rotate them backward, so like the long side of the legs go back and get out of the way. Unfortunately, I cannot do that. Between the bicep rotation and rotation just below the bicep, you can move the arms further back, so they're like on the back sides of his arms with just his front legs pushing forward. But that's about as much as I can get out of a clean look. And the more you do that, like the more you hide some of this nice robot detailing they put in the forearms. So I don't really like doing it. But if I need him to look cleaner, that's about the only option I've got. So that's about the only quibble I've got with how the robot mode functions. It's just like, as with many Beast Wars toys, there's not a lot you can do with the bug legs. Now, they can point forward so he can do his gun mode. There's no 3mm ports, which would have made it hilarious. But it is what it is. So, for articulation, yep, ball-jointed head, turns all the way around. Tiny bit of up and down motion if you need it there. Universal shoulders, always love to see that. Thanks to transformation, they actually hinge backwards as well, like a reverse butterfly. So you can work that into some poses as well. As we mentioned, the bicep rotation works. There's also a rotation just below the bicep. So you don't always get both of those. Be happy when you do. And then the elbow, 90-degree bend there. He doesn't have a waist as much as he has an ab twist. We saw that during transformation. So it's a strange bit of engineering, but it works. It still accomplishes what it should. Universal hips as well. Nothing in the way. Full clearance there. Thigh swivel 360. Knees. Look at that. Thanks to transformation. 180-degree bend. Love to see that. The ankles. Wow. Okay, so the ankles really, really make me happy. So aside from a nice tight hinge for the actual ankle tilt, you have the ankle rocker back and forth as well. This lets you get him into some very different poses than a deluxe typically gets to. So you can get him into some pretty action-oriented poses, going back to some of like the old the ninja aesthetics that they were trying to do with the original toy. He is capable of that. Great range of posability. One of the best I've seen out of the Beast Wars redos. Now, we can arm him up a little bit here before we go. So you can see he does come with the missile launcher. That's the signature weapon of the spiders in Beast Wars. I wish it was painted. I really do, but I will take it as is. We'll go ahead and plug that into his right claw. And then, while we were here, he also comes with this Buzzsaw Weapon, which is reminiscent of his Transmetal weapon, which is a nice little added touch, I feel. So he doesn't participate in the Energon gimmick, but he does have that at least. Also, it is a 5mm post on the back, which can connect into the back to make just like a super long gun if you want. It's not the best look, though. I kind of prefer having him either with the saw, like, pointed up as if it was kind of like a tool, or just pointed horizontally if you want it to be that weird, like, I don't know, pizza cutter gun thing they had to kind of jury rig in Beast Wars. I don't know, like, the Buzzsaw Weapon was weird in the cartoon. But that is your Legacy Tarantulas. Aside from a few weird, like, clearance issues in the Beast Mode, which really don't affect it, and a wish that his bug legs were a little bit better handled, there's really nothing wrong with him. Like, he comes across great. The proportions are good. He looks fantastic. The paint is good. The sculpting is great. Articulation is fantastic. Everything about him hits me in the right way. It's a super impressive job. Considering it is a latecomer into Kingdom, I'm really, really happy with what we got. It's actually, honestly, if waiting a year for Tarantulas meant that we were going to get a far better figure that, you know, from designers and engineers that have learned from doing new Beast Wars toys and then could pay that forward into Tarantulas, I think that's a fair payoff. So, if you find him, grab him. Unless you have arachnophobia, then run.
Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.